I have a very short introduction. I'm Phyllis Blumberg, and I'm on the Pennsylvania board of the Interfaith Power and Light. And we have other people here from Pennsylvania Power and Light who are going to be helping us at the end by talking about some upcoming activities and events. And I just want to give a real short reflection. Fire is an essential element in the world. And I want to draw your attention to the similarities between fire and electricity, or at least they are in my mind. Fire, like electricity, is the energy of the world, but both of them can be dangerous or destructive. Fire is the element of the sun, of light, and it's calling all things to emerge. Now we need the light of the sun to emerge to help us create more energy. So what I want to do now, I want to share my screen and get started with the presentation. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So buying or sourcing energy, you can do this for your home. And I just want to right up front say you can do this even if you rent. And just as long as you pay your electric bill to the utility company. Clean energy is available, but some people think they have to install solar panels. They don't need to do that. They can buy clean energy. Is there anybody who's not from Pennsylvania? Okay, so great. This is geared toward Pennsylvania, but things work the same way in other states. So what would be helpful is while I'm talking, if you could pull out your electric bill, either online or a piece of paper that you get in the mail, and be looking at the bill as we go through this. And later on, if you will be able to have maybe this on the telephone and a laptop, or be working from two different devices, it would be helpful. You will, because you can actually go on a website and we can make some things. You can make some comparisons. So what I'm talking about is for homes, but it's a similar process for businesses and for houses of worship. And I will be overviewing what clean energy is about. I'll be and how you can source it. And then I'm going to be answering lots of your questions. And hopefully by the end, you'll have a great idea of which way you want to go. So just some definitions at first, because the market, I think that companies make it confusing on purpose. What you want to be doing is you want to be sourcing clean and renewable green energy sources. So just a couple of definitions. And electricity is neither renewable nor non-renewable. Electricity is made up of a combination of energy sources, which can be renewable, non-renewable, dirty, or clean, or a combination of all four of them. So what we're looking for are the renewable clean energy sources. They can be replenished naturally in a short period of time. In other words, it's almost an unlimited supply. It can be generated without emitting greenhouse gases or carbon pollution, which means zero emissions. And around the Pennsylvania area, the two that are the most common are wind and solar. They're the ones that are most readily available, and that's what most energy companies are using. And these energy sources are also called clean energy sources, since they do not pollute the environment. And where it gets a little bit confusing, just to say what greenhouse gases are, it's a combination of carbon dioxide and methane. Methane is the chief component of natural gas, which many of us were raised to believe is clean, but it's really not, because methane is far more dangerous than carbon dioxide in the air. So at any rate, not all renewable energy is clean. The people think of hydropower as a clean energy, but it's only a renewable energy. It's not a clean energy because the process of generating the energy, the hydropower, produces greenhouse gases. So it would be renewable because the water cycle is perpetual. You would have enough water to be able to do this, particularly rivers in the east. And it's not clean because it produces greenhouse gases. Biomass is another example of an energy source that's renewable but not clean, as biomass produces methane emissions. And not all clean energy is renewable. That's why it gets a little confusing. Nuclear is considered clean because it does not produce greenhouse gases. It does not burn fossil fuels, but it's also not renewable. So it basically comes down to, around here, we want to be sourcing wind and solar. Any questions about what is the difference between clean and renewable and non-renewable?
I think you're pretty clear in your explanation.
Great, thank you. All right, I have a question for you, which, given that you came to this session and you know the topic, I have a feeling you know what the answer is. According to research, what is the most effective way to make a big impact on your carbon footprint in just a few minutes? No one want to just blurt it out?
Don't use a gasoline automobile.
Stop using a gas automobile. That might take a little more than a few minutes. Buying the car, etc. Oops. Well, I gave you the answer. By moving the slides sooner than I wanted it to, the most effective way to make a big impact on your carbon footprint in just a few minutes is to buy clean energy. And you can switch to a clean energy company very quickly. You can either do it through your utility company if they provide it. Not all of them do in Pennsylvania. I don't even know if any of them do. Or you can buy your energy from another source, and that's from a clean, renewable energy provider. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how you can source your energy from a clean, renewable provider. And some providers provide all kinds of energy, a mix of plans and all of that. So there's lots and lots of reasons. Oh, Patricia, you had a question?
Yes, please. I get my energy from Green Mountain, which is wind, but it just gets mixed in with everything else with PECO. I mean, it doesn't get a direct line from that company to my house.
It sure does. That's exactly right. And we'll go over exactly why that is the case in a minute. But yes, you aren't, even though you are buying clean renewable energy from a third party source, but you cannot guarantee that it's coming to your house because it all gets mixed in. So there's lots and lots of benefits for purchasing clean renewable energy. The first one, of course, is that it doesn't emit carbon pollution. It gives us increased energy independence in the United States, and it's becoming increasingly affordable. In fact, somebody today told me about a plan actually cheaper than the plan that's their utility company's plan. It also allows for price stability because renewable energies don't rely on geopolitical forces like certain countries that want to raise their prices or limit their production. It doesn't rely on finite resources like fossil fuels, and it's going to be more likely to be more. And the other thing is that the more people buy the renewable energy, the cleaner our grid will become. As Pat was saying, that she doesn't guarantee it, but over time, our grid is going to become much, much cleaner. So a little introduction to electricity. Probably remember this from high school, and if you don't, I'll go over it. Electricity is generated from a lot of different sources, and each of them has climate implications. Electricity is measured in kilowatt hours, kWh. And just like Patricia said, after you generate it, it travels on transmission lines, also known as the grid, and it's in the right side of the picture is the grid, and it travels to your house, to your box, and then to your house. But no matter how the energy is generated, you will still be getting the same reliable electricity. So a little bit more on electricity. I'm going to show a video which will explain exactly what Pat's question was. Oops.
You probably know about
Wait
the
a minute.
benefits of green
It's
power
not,
or renewable.
I'm not sharing that screen. I should stop screen. I should shut and share the other one. Oh, there we go. All right.
You probably know about the benefits of green power or renewable electricity produced by sources such as wind or the sun. Renewable electricity produces no fossil fuel-based greenhouse gas emissions or other air pollutants. That makes it clean electricity that comes from burning coal or natural gas. But if you don't have your own wind turbine or solar panels, how can you use renewable electricity? With renewable energy certificates, you can purchase renewable power and help the renewable energy market to grow. To understand how RECs work, it helps to understand how electricity is generated and delivered. From fossil fuel-based power plants to wind farms, every power grid produces electricity. This electricity travels through a network of transmission and distribution wires, which we call the electric power. Mixes together in the grid. There's no way to distinguish the exact source that your electricity came from. How can people like you know that the power you're using is from renewable resources? That's where renewable energy certificates come in. Each REC represents a specific amount of electricity produced and delivered to the power grid by a renewable resource, such as wind or solar. Let's take a wind, for example. For every megawatt hour of electricity it produces, the turbine's owner generates a REC that they can either keep or sell. If you buy the REC, you are now the owner of that green power. RECs allow you to claim that the electricity you use came from a renewable resource with low or zero emissions. In fact, anytime someone claims to use renewable electricity, RECs are involved. Even if you produce your own renewable power on site, you're generating your own RECs. RECs are part of every renewable energy purchase, and they're a credible way to buy and sell renewable electricity because RECs can be uniquely numbered and tracked. Just like an online bank account that keeps track of your electronic banking transactions, anytime a REC is sold, there are systems that track and record it. Once you buy a REC and say that you're using green power, the REC can no longer be sold or used by someone else. The REC can be retired in the tracking system to prevent someone else from claiming it. EPA recommends buying RECs that are certified and verified. This ensures that your green power was generated by a quality renewable resource and what you bought was actually produced. Why are RECs so important? Because they are the currency of the renewable energy market. They allow people and organizations to choose cleaner sources of energy and reduce their carbon footprints. RECs give you the flexibility to support renewable energy even if you can't generate it yourself, or if your local utility doesn't offer a green power product. If RECs did not exist, it would be difficult to say for sure that you're using renewable electricity. In today's electricity market, RECs really do make a difference. By buying RECs, you're providing revenue to support renewable energy projects. When enough people buy RECs, these purchases promote growth in the green power marketplace and help to avoid greenhouse gas emissions across the country. For more information about RECs and how they work, visit the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's Green Power Partnership at www.epa.gov/greenpower.
Okay. Oops, it's Gonna play again.
Are you ready to be recognized as a leader in advancing the green
Let
power
me-
market?
Let me go back.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's Green Power Partnership is the free voluntary program.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay. Now we'll share screen again. And we'll go on. So just to make it clear, RECs are the way you keep track of your green energy, your clean source. And in order for it to be called clean, it must be matched with a REC, and that's why you want to go to a reliable company. And on a shared grid, RECs are the instrument so that we can substantiate our claim that we're using clean energy. So does anybody have any questions about why what you get into your house you cannot guarantee is clean, but what RECs are the sort of the currency to help you do that?
Phyllis, I think many of us have gone to Green Mountain or Community Energy, or now there's something Clean Power and Inspire. There's a huge listing of companies for Western Pennsylvania. I've never heard of a REC from any of them.
Well,
And furthermore, their listings have become much more complex, say from 5-10 years ago when we got this choice, we began to be able to choose. Now it's like it's a very dubious market, and that's why I've tuned in. I want to know how to get something reliable in this part of Pennsylvania.
what part of Pennsylvania do you live?
Allegheny County.
Okay, so Duquesne is your light company?
Yep.
Okay, so you asked a lot of really wonderful questions. You have to read the small print on the company's contract to see whether they're actually offering you a REC or not. There are scammers out there, and we will be talking about the scammers. And there's not all the offers are good, but at the very end, we'll be going over onto sites, and you'll be looking at what you can do and what companies you want. And I will also recommend a few companies. So did I answer all your questions?
Yeah.
Okay, other questions? All right. Okay, in Pennsylvania, we only have one option for buying clean renewable energy. This is an advocacy piece that I want to make sure we know about. Other states offer many, many other options. And we need to get Pennsylvania out of the dark ages, and we need to get people to be thinking about the other options. When I know about PECO, when green energy first started coming out, PECO was offering clean renewable energy, and then they stopped. But they didn't bother telling the customers that they stopped. And now your utility company is considered the default energy source. So unless you specify otherwise, you'll be getting it from your electricity company. But you have every option to be able to do it in a different way. Pennsylvania, by the way, has the third highest emissions in the nation. Only Texas and Florida have higher rates of carbon dioxide emissions. Not good company to be in. And that has to do with the fact that we have very, very low use of renewable and clean energy, and that our policies do not encourage the use of clean energy. Policies that other states have, New York, Maryland, New Jersey. So we're talking about our neighbors. have not Ohio though, and not West Virginia. They have a lot of wonderful policies that you can buy community choice solar. So if people put up a solar array and I buy 2 array panels out of it, and then I get my power from that community choice. I mean, that community solar community aggregate is where communities come together and a broker buys a pool of energy for them, and that's often cheaper also. So we want to move in that direction, and if you're interested in talking about that, I'd be happy to talk about the advocacy and what we can do, but it's talking to our people in Harrisburg is what we need to be. So as the video showed, your electric bill is composed of 2 different things. It's composed of the supply or the generation, which comes from wherever you buy it from. Oh, thank you. I am planning to share my screen. Thanks for telling me. Okay. So it comes, your energy bill is both the generation or the supply side, and then it's also the delivery charges. The delivery is regulated, but the supply part is not regulated. And your energy supply can come from any number of different sources, but when you get your bill, you will have a generation bill, a delivery bill, taxes, and fees. So we can't cut the electricity delivery charges or the taxes and fees, but we can choose a more expensive or a less expensive electricity source. So now this is where I want you to get out your bill, if at all possible, and look for your bill. The first thing you want to notice is your account number, because you're going to need your account number in order to make any changes. And then look at the average monthly usage. It's usually in a graph like what I have on the right side. It might be in a circle type of graph. It might be in numbers, but find something that says your average monthly usage. And this is in kilowatt hours, and it's going to vary around the year. Obviously, if you have central air conditioning in the summer, you're going to be generating a lot more energy than you would be at this time of the year when you may not be using central air conditioning. There's also supply charges. Supply charges are the price that you want to be using. It's the price that you'll be charged by your current supplier if you're already shopping. And then the price to compare. So in Pico, the price to compare is 0.926 by kilowatt hours. I did a comparison around the state, and the state rates vary considerably, as I'll show you in a minute. So as everybody who can locate their bill either online or paper copy, located their account number, their average monthly usage, their supply charges, and the price to compare. Any questions? Okay. Anybody need help in finding this? So what you want to look for in a renewable energy source company is reputation. Somebody asked about this earlier, and this is so true. Not all companies are honest. Not all companies use RECs, even though they claim they do. So you want to make sure that the reputation of the company is good. You want to look at the reviews online. You want to go to Better Business Bureau. So Pat, you had a question?
Where do you find all this stuff on the Pico bill?
On the Pico bill.
Do you got Pico bills?
Yep. I have a paper Pico bill, but I can't share it. On what are you not able to find? I'm sure you found your account number. That's right under your name, right?
Oh, yes, that's no problem. You
Okay.
said something about an average monthly charge?
It usually looks like a little graph. It's on
The green circle?
The green circle talks about where both the supply and the delivery. That's right under the thing that says service address, right? And you have a little
Yeah.
green circle and it has Pico electric delivery and electric supply. Do you see that? That is the green circle, which is going to be in two parts. Got it? Yes?
I found the green circle.
Okay. On the second page of your bill, you're going to have your average electric usage, and it's a graph. And they also give it to you in your average usage, and they give it to you in a table. And that's on the second page of your bill, about halfway down the page.
Oh, it's a monthly graph. Is that what you're referring to?
That's exactly what I'm referring to.
Oh, I thought you said an average.
Average electric
Okay.
usage, but it's, and then they'll give it to you and then it'll say average daily, average. So now
Oh.
and then in the bottom of that table, it says total annual kilowatt average usage and average kilowatt per month. Okay.
I guess so. Go ahead.
All right.
Maybe.
Not all offers are honest or even good for you. Dan, would you like to tell everybody the offer that you told me about that at first sounded like it was too good to be true, and then you looked into it and you said, no, wait a minute, this is not good for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's someone who was sending out mailings saying that you could have for $100 on one of the mailings or 110 on the other, all the electricity you want because of your address, and they've decided to offer that. And so if I look at my electric bill, that would have saved me money. But if I look more closely at the electric bill and look at the supply charge and the delivery charge, that $110, as was the current price they were offering me, was more than my supply charge. It was less than the supply charge plus the delivery charge. So it was less than my whole bill, but the only thing that I would be getting with that $110 a month is the supply of electricity. I would still need to pay PECO their piece for the delivery. So in the end, I would have ended up paying more had I jumped on that offer. I would have paid the $110 a month plus the PECO delivery charge, and so would have been up at, maybe, I don't know what it would have been more.
Mm-hmm.
And there were numerous complaints when I looked online at reviews of this company. There were complaints, many of which were from people who had faced a similar choice and were not understanding the supply plus delivery.
Exactly. So you would have been subscribing to a sham or a quack. And they're not quack company. They're a real company. They're just not being honest with you. And they're not telling you why you need to be looking at it. The supply part of the energy bill is usually almost a half of your energy bill. It can be between a third and a half. So it would have meant that Dan would have been paying almost $200 a month, which is far more than he's paying now, especially during this time of the year. The other thing to be aware of is it's a personal choice who you select, but big fossil fuel companies are now buying renewable energy companies for the purpose of making them look green. They're saying, oh, look at us. We sell clean energy to people. It's also a way to protect their own assets with fossil fuels are going down. Some people have complained that people go door to door and they want you to sign up on the spot. Do not do that. Just like you shouldn't be doing that with anything you want to buy. You want to think about it, and don't, when somebody says you have to sign here right now, door to door, so a solicitation, don't do anything. What you want to do is you want to contact the company yourself and make sure that what they're saying is what you find true, and then you want to read everything about it. So a good place to go to help you select is the Pennsylvania Power Switch, Pennsylvania Power Utility Commission. And maybe we could put that up in the chat. I don't have access to the chat where it says shop for your home, Pennsylvania Power Switch. They give you all of the companies. They're vetted by the Utility Commission. All you do is you enter your zip code and then you pick 100% renewable clean energy. So I'm going to see if I can get this on the screen. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share that bill. There it is, I believe. So this is what, did it go up to the bill? I mean, what that looks like? Do you see what the website for the Pennsylvania Power Switch looks like?
No,
Yes or no?
no.
No, okay. I'm gonna stop sharing screen and I'm gonna start sharing this screen. All right, now that it, I hope so, right?
Yes, we got it.
Great, thanks. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. It's going to ask you to put your zip code in, and that's right here. And then it's going to ask you, do you want variable price, fixed price, or unlimited price? You want fixed price, just like a mortgage. You get a variable price, it can be an introductory price, cheap 1 month and blossoms the next. So you don't want that one. You do not want introductory price. You do not want discounts or incentives available because oftentimes they're really not worth it. You want to check no cancellation fee, no monthly fee, no enrollment fee. And then you're going to take it down to special programs. What do you want? You want renewable energy? Do you care whether it comes from Pennsylvania or not? Do you only want wind? Do you only want solar? I would say just check renewable energy. And then it'll give you a list. As you can see, it's a fairly long list. And I've researched lots of these companies. So I'm going to tell you which ones I have researched. I don't work for any of these companies, and I am not advocating for them. I'm just giving you some research of it, what I've uncovered. Questions about how you filter and how you go on this site?
Can you go over that filter again a little slower?
Sure. Your
Thanks.
zip code. You can then put in your monthly usage, but if you don't, then the numbers they give you won't be the same. Sort by, don't worry about that. Price. You want to check fixed price because it'll be the exact same rate for the term of the contract. You do not want to check introductory price, and you do not want to check discounts or incentives. I have a card right here from the electric company that I chose. It's, if I enter this PIN after 6 months of using this contract, I will have a gift card. I'm not sure I trust that. Terms and conditions. You want to check no cancellation fee because let's say energy gets real cheap. You want to be able to change to another company. Let's say you decide that this company is not doing what you like. So you don't want that. You don't want a monthly fee. These monthly fees, some companies will offer something that's really cheap and then give you a large monthly fee. So your overall bill is too high, and no enrollment fee. So it's terms and conditions. You want to check no cancellation, no monthly fee, and no enrollment fees. Special programs. Net metering is for people who have solar, so that they'll read whether you're bringing things in and out, off the grid and into the grid. And very few companies do net metering. And if you do have solar and are interested in this, I'll be happy to talk about it. I always choose renewable energy. I don't care personally whether it comes from Pennsylvania or whether it comes from Texas. Renewable energy to me is renewable energy. Some people want to make sure that it's Pennsylvania renewable. So it could be Pennsylvania wind or and remember, Pennsylvania renewable does not necessarily mean it's clean. It can be coming from biomass. It can be coming from hydropower. Do you want only solar? I don't care. To me, wind and solar are both great. So just in my value is just check renewable energy, but this is your, this is a value judgment that you have to make. Got it? Questions? And then you can see AEP energy over here. and it's going to tell you this is what they're going to charge you. And they're going to tell you if you use the amount of energy that I put in, which is 700 kilowatts per month, your bill is going to be 70.35. You notice as you go down there, they vary all over the map. We start with 70, 92, 52, 58, 57, 60, 70, etc. And that's where you get, oh no, what is this all about? And can I trust this really low offer? And then there's Green Mountain, which everybody has heard about because they do lots of advertising. I'm not saying anything bad about Green Mountain. They use certified RECs. They're a clean company. They do good things. But look at their price. It's $70. It's $76. And some of the others are cheaper. So this is where it gets a little bit confusing. All right. Any other questions about this website, the Pennsylvania Power Switch from the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission?
I noticed that they're giving term length as well in that list, and they vary quite a bit.
They sure do vary quite a bit.
Considerations to think about on that?
Yeah, I will say this, I was planning to say this later, but I'll say it now. Energy prices go up in the winter and in the summer. You're talking about the need for more energy in the winter and in the summer, and therefore they jack up the prices. Spring and fall, the prices go down. So the prices, because the energy demand for energy is less. So April is a perfect time to be selecting your energy choice. The length of time. So here, Brighton Energy has one plan that's for 7 months and one plan that's for 18 months. And they vary quite a bit in terms of price. So the shorter one is giving you the cheaper price. This is 0.074 and this one is 0.8 because they're not sure where it's going to be 10 months from now. This one is saying, I'm going to charge you a little bit more because you're getting this for a year and a half. So it's a personal choice. Are you willing to say, yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the neck for me to go and investigate my rates every 7 months. Or I don't really like doing this, so I'll pay a little more and get 18 months. Because I'm monitoring this on a regular basis and helping people to do this, I went with a short-term contract. So this is the type of thing that I would think you might want to do. And after you have a company, we'll talk about what happens at the end of your contract. So the rates will vary depending on who your electric company is.
There are people with hands up, I see.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll jump in. Could you scroll back to the top? I went through this process relatively recently and used PA Power Switch, and I was pretty underwhelmed by the choices. And you seem to have a lot more choices than I had when I went through this process. And I'm wondering what parameters I'm not getting here. In fact, I'm also doing it on the screen in parallel. And I'm no stranger to online platforms, so I'm just wondering why I only get 2, 3, 4, 5 results, and you have 24.
Question: who is your electric company, or what is your electric company?
Pico.
Pico. Do you live in Philadelphia?
No, Northern Chester County.
Northern Chester County. Okay, and you put in your zip code, and you're not getting 24 results like I am.
No, nowhere close to it. Is that a Wynwood zip code?
Is that a what?
Oh, it looks like I thought I recognized your zip code as Wynwood. Mine's, near Valley Forge, 19460.
I do live in Wynwood. So,
oh, okay.
Let's go through.
We all use Pico, right?
Right, we both use Pico. Okay, so did you put in fixed price?
Yes.
All right. Did you check no cancellation fee, no monthly fee, no enrollment fee?
I didn't, but I figured I should have more results without those limitations.
That would give you less results, yes. But check those and check net metering. Oh, you know what could be the difference? I did not put in anything on that bottom box where it says unit price.
Yeah, I didn't either. No, you know what I think what I think I've realized is under special programs, these parameters are set as, you're not choosing a whole range of things you could have. If you choose multiple things, it seems to limit it rather than expand it, which is
yes,
strange.
exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. Wonderful that you figured that out. So if you check renewable energy, Pennsylvania wind, and Pennsylvania renewable and solar, you might get one choice.
Which is bizarre because it's saying it has to be all these things. And what I want to say is I want to see something that's PA wind. I want to see something that's renewable PA. And instead it's like it has to meet all those conditions. It's a very weird setup, and that's why I've been.
It is a weird setup, and that's, thank you for identifying that.
If you're going on Best Buy to look at a TV and you say, well, I want, a TV that's $400, $800, and I also want to see TVs that are $800 to $1,200, it'll show you all of that. It won't show you none of that. It's a weird setup here.
It's just the algorithm. This is something that if you're doing searches online in a library, this is called Boolean logic, and these are all ands, and usually it would be ors. So
yes, exactly.
Okay, great. So now that you've checked only renewable energy, are you back up to a nice number?
I am, but I had already made my choice a couple months ago, so we'll have to.
Okay. Well, if you have no cancellation fee and it's much cheaper, you can call them up and say, I want to change my rates. But it's also going to cancel at some point in the future, so you're going to be doing this sometime soon. Okay. Other questions about the website?
I have a question. Trying to understand, my PP&L bill says use this price to compare when comparing supplier offers, and it gives me 14.6 cents a kilowatt hour. And I'm looking at a Green Mountain Energy Company offer for PA wind that is showing me 11.9 cents a kilowatt hour. Are those two numbers comparable? And this is on my website. I'm doing this on my own, not on your site.
That's right. They are comparable. One is just move your decimal point over.
So all I have to do then, so this is easy then, because I don't have to factor in distribution charges and all that other junk. It's just it's an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah, this is just the supply charges.
Oh, well then this is easy for me. You've just shown me a way to save money.
So yeah, there are ways of saving money. So move your decimal point over and then they'll be comparable. These are all great questions. Other questions before I turn off this screen?
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. Yes?
Yes, Lynn?
Me. Okay, Lynn, thank you. I'm not even looking at my own statement. I get digital statements and I don't look at them. It's all automatically paid, so I don't follow this closely. But I've been a member of the Energy Co-op for many, many years, and I just have continued. But I'd like to hear your take on it. I'm sure you know about it. My belief is that it's all the sources are all in Pennsylvania. I have supposedly 100% renewable, which I know is wind. Wind is one of those. But I'd like to hear what you have to say, if you could, about that company.
I have only good things to say about the Energy Co-op. Unfortunately, you notice on my screen, it's not listed. And I don't understand why it's not listed. Energy Co-op has been in business for years. They offer exactly what they say they're going to do. They talk to their members. They educate you about energy and all kinds of things. They also offer gas. The one caveat about the Energy Co-op, I'm not sure if it's available in all of Pennsylvania, but in the Philadelphia area, it's certainly available. They tend to be more expensive.
Yeah.
And, this is a value thing.
I understand.
Do you want to come from Pennsylvania? Maybe you're willing to pay a little bit more for it. The same way Green Mountain Energy, because they're out there with a lot of options and a lot of advertising. They're also more expensive. They're also a great company. So I don't want to make people think that there are not good companies out there. There are good companies. Price may not be your only criteria. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, here I am in Pennsylvania again. and I can only bring up Brighton Energy, and I don't think that's even green. Two entries from Brighton Energy, one from IDT Energy Inc., and one from Empire Energy New Jersey. These, they don't learn more about this last offer, say. I think these are regular energy companies. They're not, they're not offering green.
So go back to your filters on the
Yeah.
and check special programs.
Yes, I did.
And only renewable energy.
Right.
So who is your electric company?
Duquesne.
Duquesne. I don't know. Anybody else on the call who uses Duquesne Energy, and see whether they're getting anything else?
Marianne, are you getting anything else? I have been terrible. I used this when it first came out. I had this community energy. It was great. Community energy dumped its residential customers in Western PA. And I've been looking for stuff ever since. I'm in Green Mountain. Maybe if I go to a few music festivals this summer, I'll find a Green Mountain stand, but
yeah, you will.
Because I'm not getting, the listings. And the last time I looked, I got more than this, but they were sharks. There's this I'm not sure about Inspire. It seems dicey. What do you think about Inspire?
I'm not recommending Inspire.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brighton, you said you had two choices from Brighton?
Yeah.
Two choices from Brighton, and mine is 0.074 per kilowatt for a 7-month. And I also could get Brighton at 0.08390 for an 18-month contract. Do you have the exact same offers, or are your offers?
No, mine are 0.09 and 10 and 0.1 or 0.10. But that's they are a green company, are they?
They are a green company. They're one of the companies that I definitely am recommending.
Oh, great. Well, then I'll just settle for that. That's fine by me. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Okay. Any other questions before we move on?
Why don't you recommend Inspire?
Why don't I recommend Inspire? When I went on the website and I read about them and the complaints about them, I didn't particularly like what people were saying. I don't remember, but I think one of these companies is now owned by Shell, and it might be Inspire. I have looked at so many companies that I do not remember whether it was Shell. This one was Shell or not, but it was like, I don't really want to give my money to Shell. But then again, it's a value judgment. It's a personal choice. But I mean, that's why I've done the research for you in terms of companies that I like the best, that I spent hours reading about these and reading the small print and making sure that they were using RECs and all this kind of stuff. So I'm trying to make it a little easier for you. Other questions, or can we get off this website?
Are you going to tell us which ones you like?
I am going to tell you that. Okay. All right, if we could move on, that would be good. Come on. There we go. All right, the answer to your question, drum roll. The 3 companies that I did the most research on, they look like they're trustworthy, they're reasonably priced, they're competitively priced, but the rates do change constantly, are Brighton, Smart Energy, and Clean Sky Energy. So the woman who was from the Pittsburgh area and I were just talking about Brighton Energy, and her prices were higher than mine because her base prices from Duquesne are higher. So they charge a little bit more too. So they're my 3, Brighton Energy and the 7-month deal. And somebody just today told me that he signed up for the 7-month offer, and it was actually 2.3 cents per kilowatt hour less than the PICO price to compare. So that to me is a really good deal. 2.3 cents savings on your PICO thing, but it is a 7-month offer, which means you're going to have to go back to this process again in 7 months. I've taken it on as a commitment to be monitoring this. So I would be real happy to help people out. But once you figure out which companies you trust and which ones you like, it's easier. I also have known people who've gone with Smart Energy because when they checked, they were slightly cheaper than Brighton. Clean Sky has a really good reputation. Smart Energy, I believe, is fairly new in the Pennsylvania area. They have a major office in Allentown. Not that it matters where it is, because it's just an energy supplier. And Clean Sky Energy also has a nice reputation. Some of their plans have cancellation fees, some of them do not. Right, so it's Brighton, Smart Energy, and Clean Sky. So your bill, of course, will vary considerably because it's made up of delivery charges that the utility company will charge, and of course the taxes. But the biggest factor in determining the size of your bill is the amount of electricity you use. So I just want to go over a couple of ideas for how you can manage your electricity bill. And everybody can save a little bit if they want to be a little bit more frugal. I have neighbors who go from heat to air conditioning and never open their windows and never have a day like today, which maybe you open your window, but I don't think you need air conditioning. So you want to lower your thermostat in the winter. So in other words, you're making your house a little colder. And even if you don't have electric heat, you're still using electricity for the turn on switches and that sort of stuff. But in the summer, it's the most important is to raise that thermostat. Even 1 degree makes a big difference in the summer for your air conditioning. Have your furnace serviced, because an old furnace which is using dirty filters is inefficient, therefore burning a lot more energy. You want to do some things like insulation of your house, you want to seal the leaks around your house. Ceiling fans make a huge difference. And people even keep their ceiling fans on all year long, and they reverse the direction of the ceiling fan. In the winter, they want to pull the hot air from the top of the room down to the bottom of the room. And in the summer, they want to pull they want to do the reverse. They want to bring the cold, they want to bring the cold air down. And your water heater uses a huge amount of energy. So lowering that to 120, it's automatically set by the factory at 140, which I learned as a little kid is just not safe, because little kids can get burned at 140. And then switching to LED bulbs, and with the ones that you use the most, even switch before they burn out. So those are just some tips for how to save energy. We could have a whole session on how you personally save energy. So we went over this already about the rates of change, and this is a good time of the year to be buying electricity. The rates will change again in June in terms of the utility companies. The supply companies change their rates on a regular basis when they find better deals or worse deals. So I just want to go over how you're actually going to switch. You've now decided you want to go with Brighton or with Smart Energy. And so you're going to call the company yourself and you're going to say, I'm interested in switching to your plan. Can you give me a little bit of details about it? And you want to go over the terms of the contract, the details, the rates, the fees, everything. And then say to them, oh, I wonder if you could offer me something better. Or if it doesn't match what you see when you do the Pennsylvania Energy switch, you can say, how come you're charging me this amount and the website says that amount? So you want them to explain it. Read over the contract really carefully before you sign it. And all you will need to do to tell them that you want the supplying company is give them your electric company name and your account number, and they will handle the paperwork for you. So it's really simple. Try to find out how soon your service will start. They'll say within a month or two. It usually is within a week. And then understand the billing cycle and how it works. And it's once you decide that you like this company, Brighton, Smart Energy, etc., you're going to call them up and you're going to talk to them. And their customer service agents are really nice. Questions about switching? Okay, so
Have you tried with Green Mountain to discuss with them the lower rates of the other companies, of their competition? And are they responsive?
I have not. I suspect it's because they are at all these music festivals and they've got to pay somebody to go to all these music festivals. And they're at every event that I've ever been to that is environmentally conscious. So like I live in an area that has an Earth Day every year in a park. They always have a table there. I think you're paying for their advertising and for their sales force personally, but I could be wrong.
And to change, do you call the parent, you call the new company that you want to switch?
You call the new company and you say, I want to switch. So your default company is your electric company, your electricity utility company now, and you call the new company and you say, I want to switch. You go over the details with them. You give them your electric company name and your account number, and that's it. I wrote account name, it's actually account number, and they handle the paperwork.
Okay.
Okay. And if you decide you want to switch in the middle, you can do that.
One thing that I have found is that if you choose renewable energy, it's not always wind and solar.
Right.
Inspire, I believe, also comes from hydroelectric.
Right.
Hydropower.
That was I think my second slide where I went over the differences between clean and renewable, not clean and renewable. Biomass and hydropower are not clean energy because they emit CO2 or methane depending on what they're using. But yeah, that's a good point.
Could you comment on the question of whales and the wind problem, or is it a problem?
Which problem are you?
Are the wind farm?
Are the offshore wind farms killing the whales?
Yeah.
So what's really killing the whales are huge boats. That was put out by energy companies as propaganda. So, and do they kill birds? In the beginning, 20 years ago, they might have killed birds, but now we started out originally with 5 blades. We now have 3 longer blades, and we never put them in the path of migrating birds anymore. So what kills birds the most, and I hate to say this as a cat lover, cats kill more birds than wind kills birds. Dan, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to just, do you have to call the energy company to switch, or can you just do it online with a click here and a click there?
Certainly do it online. I like to call because I'd like to ask them all these questions that I have. But if you're comfortable with what you're reading online, by all means, go online and just do it online at midnight when the service people may not be there.
And the Power Switch website, does that website have a switching thing, or do you just choose the company there and then go to the company you're choosing, go to their website to sign up?
Since I still have mine up, I will see. Sign up for this offer. I'm going to click it and see what it says.
I just did it, and they're very happy. They're thanking me. They say, we will send you important information about your service using the contact info and communication preferences you've provided. We'll contact your local utility and send you your account details once your start date is set. This usually takes about 3 business days. Your service will begin, et cetera, et cetera. So at least it's in the ball is in their court if you use the power switch. Sign up.
So that's even easier if you don't want to call. You can sign up online using the power switch. Okay, so everybody's clear on how you're going to do it. You're either going to go online, you're going to click this thing that says sign up for this offer, or you're going to call them after you've made your decision. So now your contract is ending. What do you do? First of all, I always put on my calendar how many months I have on my contract, so I know when it should be coming up. They're required by law to send you a notice. Your current electric power supply company is required by law to send you a paper U.S. mail letter that says your contract is about to expire. You can automatically renew your contract, and the rate is always higher than what you can get. So don't let them automatically renew your thing. You then want to go back to the power switch and check it out and see what they're giving, or call them up and say, could you give me a better offer than what you say in your letter? And you will always get a better offer. So don't let them automatically renew your thing. Oh, and before your contract runs out, one thing that I just want to talk about are the top two bullets. You will continue getting a bill from your electric company, your utility company, and it'll give you, instead of it saying where the energy supply comes from them, it'll have the name of it. So my bill says Smart Energy, and it has the address and the telephone number. Or it might say Brighton or whatever. If you experience a power outage, you're going to call your utility company. So you will never hardly, during that 6-month period that you're getting your power from this third source, interact with that third source. Your bill will will look exactly the same. It'll come from your utility company. If you have a power outage, if you have a problem with electricity, like your lights are flickering too much or something else, you're going to call your utility company, and they're going to treat you the same as they treat everybody, because you're still using their services. Okay, so don't worry about any of the things that you hear about. Well, what happens if this happens or whatever? So at the end of your contract, you're going to either change companies by going through this power switch again, or you're going to call your company when you're going to then sign up for a new contract. So I know that in the fall, in October, I have it on my calendar that I need to start looking for another company. And then I often find, oh, there's a really new company that I've never seen before. Like, let me go look at this company. Let me see what they're doing. Do they actually have recs? Are they have complaints against them? So lots of good stuff. Coming to the end of the presentation, and I want to make sure that you have any questions, anything else. And if you do switch, if you could go to this Google form, feedback on sourcing clean energy Google form, and let me know what you're switching, and maybe you found another company that you like. Questions?
I can add one thing. Even if you contract for a limited term, like whether it's 7 months or a year or whatever, if you have no cancellation fee, you can switch before that, before
Yes,
your term ends.
Yep, you can. You can switch.
If you find a supplier that has a lower price.
Right, you certainly can. You just have to make sure you don't have cancellation fees. And if you move, even if you have cancellation fees, companies understand that you're moving, and you may not be able to buy it from when you move. Maybe you're moving to a place that you're not going to be paying any electric bills yourself, because you're moving to a place where everything's all combined together. So don't worry about it if you move. All right, 2 people have raised their hands. Do you want to speak out, please?
Yes, this is Noranash. Who is responsible for certifying these companies? That was a very important piece of what you said in the beginning, was the certification. Who does the certification?
That's a good question. I don't think I know the answer to that. I suspect it's the Utility Commission, or it could be the EPA.
Well, what we find in some of these areas, both the Utility Commission and the EPA, we're finding in many cases that the commissioners have been in for life and there's not a lot happening. And I would be questioning any company that says they have 100% clean energy. That's almost impossible. So I think it's important for me, I have done this already, to check out the certifying agencies. We have found tremendous faults in the EPA and the DEP when it comes to fracking. And in our legislative bodies, there are serious issues.
Mhm.
So you're pointing out the fact that there's the certification was important to me, because I think that's something I want to check on too, who the agency might be.
You just made me realize that on the Pennsylvania Energy Switch site, they don't list clean energy as a source. They only list renewable energy. And the point is, it's probably very hard to get 100% clean energy, whereas the renewable energy will include both clean and non-clean. So it could include hydropower. Quite a bit of, especially if you live by Lake Erie, an awful lot of it is hydropower. So that would be a real reason why, if you're committed to it, you might want to just check the Pennsylvania wind and the solar.
And how much, when you think of renewable energy, it's all commingled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the really difficult thing to understand, because I don't know that the company knows even what's commingled.
Of course not, because think of it as a soup in which you're putting the onions and the garlic in, and in there, you cook it up, and you put the meat in and the veggies and all this kind of stuff. And then you take your food processor and you blend it. So you now have a puree soup. Can you find the onion? No.
No, that's why we need not to be satisfied with just thinking that we are getting it.
We're not getting it. We're adding it to the grid, and we're using the only way you're really getting it is to generate it yourself. To generate, if you have a capacity to put solar panels up, then you know when the sun is shining and when you can read your meter that you are actually generating it. But yeah, I mean, some of this is a little bit of it's advertising, and it's not exactly as honest as we would like it to be. And this thing about renewable energy, it was only tonight that I realized, renewable does not mean clean. And I've been doing this for a long time.
Thank you for that. And thank you for the wonderful presentation, because it does open our eyes.
Other questions?
Yeah, let me bring us back to the saving energy piece. I wanted to bring up another point on that. So the various ways that we can use less energy, which is certainly very important. And I know that it's difficult, and I'm trying to teach myself ways. And I guess that's a struggle each of us has going. There are smart thermostats, which I would also recommend, that can help a lot to make it easy to have the temperature in your house not be warmer than it needs to be when you're not there, or colder when it needs to be when you're not there. They've gotten quite good. And they're not very difficult to install or have installed. So if you're not doing that yet, I would suggest it. We can also sometimes do that with zoning our houses. If our houses are zoned for only heat or cool the part of the house that you're going to be in, that's a way to save a lot of energy.
Yeah, and even if you don't go with a smart thermostat, if you go with a programmable thermostat, so you go out of your house every morning at 8 o'clock and you're gone because you and your kids are gone. So you can then turn the thermostat down during the winter for the heat, and down and up in the summer. And you know everybody's coming home by 3:30, so you turn the air conditioning back on at 2:30 and the house is cool enough. There's lots of ways of doing all of this. You can invest in advanced the power sources, power strips, which will turn things off automatically for you, even if you don't. So we could do a whole presentation and a whole discussion on saving energy.
Oh, one other point that we didn't, there was a note in the chat about free energy audits from PICO.
Yep.
And a comment about blower door tests. So that's another important piece.
Mm-hmm. So the resources that you want to look at are commonly asked questions from the EPA and the Guide to Purchasing Green Energy. And I will stop sharing my screen and see whether anybody else has any questions. Otherwise, we're going to go to, if you have time, we want to go over a couple of action items from Interfaith Power and Light. If you have questions about switching, or if you have questions after the fact, you can contact me by way of the Interfaith Power and Light of Pennsylvania, or my email address is Phyllis, PHYLLIS 2723@gmail.com. And the numbers again are 2723.
I do have a question, Phyllis. Sorry, I couldn't find my raised hand. When you look, or how good are they about telling you what percentage of their electricity, those renewable attributes have you seen? Do they do a good job of telling us what they're giving us?
Companies vary. Not all the companies will give you the amount of detail that other companies will do, but some of them really do a nice job.
So that's why you probably want to call them and ask them more directly.
Or you might want to say, send it to me. Send me what's the distribution that you have of wind and solar, and how much do you use biomass and hydropower?
Yep, thank you.
Renika, would you like to take it away?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, if you don't know me, I am Renika Weimer. I'm PA IPL's outreach coordinator in Southwest Pennsylvania. I'm based in Pittsburgh, and I just have a couple things to share tonight. First thing, we're doing our annual bike and hike. And over the month of May, we're going to be hosting hiking and biking trips throughout the state, or you can ride or hike at your own pace. The way this works is your family and friends support you to ride, and the funding helps support PA IPL's work. You'll meet like-minded people and see Pennsylvania's outdoors. You can register to ride or hike with us and find more information at the link that I'm about to drop in the chat. All right, there's that link if you're interested. I also want to draw attention to the fact that tomorrow, PA IPL is co-sponsoring an educational webinar. This is an event to inform people about the newest synthesis report, which was released by the IPCC, what it says, what it means, and how it advocates for a more sustainable future. This event's going to be held tomorrow, April 20th, from 6 to 7 p.m. And if you've got time and you're interested, the sign-up link is now in the chat. And lastly, the IPL has begun a weekly newsletter called the Enviro Memo. It's a weekly guide to interfaith climate work that's going on in Pennsylvania right now. And if you're interested in getting updates on this kind of work, or you'd like to hear more about our advocacy and policy work, I encourage you to subscribe, because each week we're highlighting an action alert or petition. So if you're interested in that, it's a great opportunity. And I'm going to put that sign up link in the chat right now as well. All right, that is all that I have for now, and I hope you'll join us for one of those upcoming events.
Do you happen to know if the record or tomorrow's session would be recorded if we miss it?
The IPCC event?
Yes.
Yeah. I am not quite sure, but I will email the organizer and see if we can get that information to you.
I think it will be, given the partners that we're partnering with. I'm pretty sure they're going to want to record it.
And was your deck tonight, Phyllis, going to be distributed?
Oh, yeah. We always distribute our slides and the recording from the thing. It takes a little time, but we will get it out to you. You'll get an email from us saying, you know, here's the slides and here's the chat and here's the whole presentation. And as I said, I'm committed to this, and I'd be happy to do this for anybody. If your church, your organization, your PTA wants to hear about this, I would be happy to talk to people about it. By Zoom, I think it works really well because people can then pull up their electric bills, whereas in person they may not be able to go on the sites or that type of stuff. I would be happy to offer this across the state.
Yeah, extremely helpful, especially finding out that those check marks were kind of confusing.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that people were on the site was really helpful. We answered a lot of questions. Okay. Thank you all. And if you do change your energy source, let me know who you picked, what the price was, and if you have any questions. And then as you do this, get other people to do it also, because as they said in the video and we've said, the more that people use renewable energy, the demand for renewable energy will go up, the cleaner the grid will be. And then we will know that we are actually using clean energy when it's majority of the energy's in there. Okay.
Thanks, Phyllis. That's helped me and a friend of mine. So we're both, that's great.
That's what I want to hear.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. We need to be doing our individual pieces, and this is very impactful. So thank you.
Thank you.